Well, the next company to be presented is Neuronix by CEO Eyal Baror. Eyal is CEO of Neuronix since 4 years when he joined the company. Neuronix, as you will tell, develops novel medical device treatment for Alzheimer's disease. Eyal is a graduate of the Eyal program of the Israeli Army and has more than a decade of experience in management positions. As I said, he joined the company 4 years ago and has taken from research stage to commercialization and marketing. Under his leadership, Neuronix technology has been shown in repeated clinical studies to be highly effective in treatment of Alzheimer's disease and is currently undergoing its pivotal FDA study. Eyal,
Hi everyone. Thank you very much for coming over to hear about Neuronix. In Neuronix, we're in the field of finding a medical device intervention that will be helpful for the effective therapy for Alzheimer's disease. We have developed our system that you can see on the right-hand side of the slide behind me that combines transcranial magnetic stimulation to brain regions affected by the disease, concurrently with cognitive training that targets those same brain regions in the same time. And the idea when we started everything to look and search for a solution for Alzheimer's was that doing this dual stimulation together at the same time, both on the physical biological level as well as on the cognitive level, creates a longer lasting change in the brain activity. Neuronix in the highlights. Everyone knows that Alzheimer's disease is a huge issue today. I think it was repeated something like every 30 minutes on this podium today. So far we've completed several clinical trials, double-blind clinical trials, both in Israel as well as in the United States and Harvard Medical School, with excellent results so far that I will show you later on. Based on these results, we have been approved, CE approved in Europe, and with that we've started our commercialization in European territories as well as several Asian territories. Our technology is patent protected in the US, pending in other territories around the world. And as Eyal mentioned, we have started our pivotal multi-center study in the US to get the FDA approval. We'll skip that. Not to spend too much time on Alzheimer's disease. Everyone knows it's a big issue, but not everyone understands how big Alzheimer's disease's impact on our Western society as it is today. It is the only leading cause of death, as you can see on the graph on the right-hand side of my slide, that over a decade of years, from 2000 to 2008, its prevalence has only went out, where all other conditions causing for morbidity in the Western countries have been managed to a certain extent. This is the only disease that has been going up. The prevalence of Alzheimer's is 30 or 35 million people around the world today, and it's continuing to increase. And with all the baby boomers in the United States turning to the 70s and 80s, in 15 years' time, this is going to be doubling in numbers of population. And out of the leading 10 causes of death in the Western world, it is the only one that cannot be managed today, cannot be cured, cannot be prevented, cannot be lowered in incidence, and cannot even be halted for a significant period of time. Alzheimer's is not only an issue for the patients and for the families, it's a huge economic burden on the economy, with the patient going down and deteriorating over year after year after year. At a certain degree, they can become fully dependent, need a lot of help, and this costs a lot of money. Today, even today, before the numbers are doubling, today it costs in the US beyond $200 billion. What do we have to offer for the Alzheimer's patients today? Unfortunately, very little. There are several drugs, all of them working on the same mechanism of action of cholinesterase inhibitors, but unfortunately, they are effective for a relatively short period of time, between 6 to 9, maybe 10 months, depending on the exact study that you're looking at. And during that time, their effect is quite subtle. There are side effects to those drugs, and this is our situation as it is today. So what are we offering? To Neuronix intervention, all of our patients are undergoing an anatomical MRI scan of the brain to identify and locate six cortical brain regions that we have searched and developed into, that we are focusing on those 6 brain regions. And once these brain regions are identified and localized, we move to the intervention phase, which comprises of 6 weeks, 5 days a week, 1 hour every day, all in all 30 sessions. As part of these 30 sessions, and we go to the right-hand side, during the 1-hour session, 3 out of the 6 brain regions I mentioned earlier are being treated, each of them for about 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And during these 15 to 20 minutes, each brain region is both stimulated using a TMS that is being optically navigated to exactly the right spot on the patient's head based on the priorly acquired MRI scan. And while it's being stimulated, it's also being cognitively activated to promote the thinking and cognitive process of the brain. The process and the protocol of our clinical study so far has been on mild to moderate Alzheimer patients. It counts for about 60 to 70% of the patients around the world. We are checking their cognitive performance on the well-established Alzheimer disease scales for evaluation of patients, and we evaluate them before and after the 6 weeks intervention, and obviously trials are double-blind, placebo-controlled. So let's see the results. So far it has been quite a long introduction. Our results, and you see the improvement of our patients on the green line, the top green line. I'll try to do something here. Now I have the cursor. So following the 6 weeks intervention, our patients have improved on that standard scale for Alzheimer patients between 4 to 5 points on average compared with the baseline. Whereas if you see the average improvement as measured on the pharma drug, the approved drugs, is about between 2 to 3 points. So it's a pretty remarkable increase in the performance of the patients. That's number 1. Number 2, when we follow on the patient for up to 1 year, we see that there is some slow decline, but the patients after 1 year are better than what they started with a year earlier. And this is a dramatic change as we view the managing of Alzheimer's disease using our technology. Because after 1 year, the patients are coming back to our clinics and repeating the 6 weeks intervention course. And we have patients that have done it twice, we have patients that have done it 3 times, and we have been able to stabilize to improve and stabilize, not just to stabilize, but to improve and stabilize Alzheimer's patients for 3 and 4 years by now, which is unprecedented in the world of Alzheimer's. Coming also from the Harvard Medical School study, they also performed fMRI scans of the brain before and after the intervention, again showing a change in the activity of the brain and an increase in the brain activity in various regions of the brain. And now we move to the next clinical challenge, which is the multi-center pivotal study for the FDA. We have located, identified, and started working already 6 US sites. I don't know if you know the names, but these are well established in the world of research of Alzheimer, starting from Harvard Medical School, going through Cleveland Clinic, NYU, primary research in Florida, all of them well known in the world of Alzheimer. We've started our studies and we expect to have it completed by the end of next year. We are quite hopeful as for the outcome because the clinical study, the pivotal study for the FDA, is of the same protocol that we have done in our previous studies. We have had our first patent approved in the US about 3 or 4 months ago, covering a system and method for treatment using cognitive training and a combination with electromagnetic stimulation, which gives us a relatively wide protection over our applications, and we have other applications coming up for review in other territories as well. As I mentioned in the beginning, we are approved in Europe and we have started our commercial activities less than a year. It's been quite a successful year with sales over $500,000 US, and we're continuing to expand our work in various territories in Europe and Asian territories. And to summarize, Alzheimer is a huge challenge, a huge unmet need. So far our technology has been demonstrated in several clinical trials, double-blind studies, to be highly effective both in the short term and also follow-ups going up to 1 year. We are approved in Europe. We have started our commercialization, and we expect to have the FDA submission by the end of next year. So thank you very much, everyone.